Hi, my name is Gabe Chang-Deutsch, and today I'll be doing a video on film study for debaters, part 1. I will be talking about watching videos of other debaters as a way to get better at debate. Why is film study important? One of the main reasons is I think it allows you to learn from debaters who are better than you. What are they doing in their speeches that separates them from the rest? What arguments or warrants do they make that you should utilize to make your speeches sound more persuasive? How do they respond to arguments that you yourself have been finding challenging to answer? All of these are reasons you should do film study because it allows you to learn from students who have more practice and experience in the activity than you, and a lot of times much more competitive success. They also allow you to understand the meta, or the prevalence of arguments that will be deployed in debate. Many times, college debate arguments trickle down into high school policy and LD debate. So watching college debate rounds will allow you to learn what is going to come in 1 or 2 years to high school debate and let you be ahead of the curve. The arguments that the best debaters are making will oftentimes be utilized by everyone because they think they're a strategic way to win debates. So it gives you a leg up on the competition if you are studying what arguments they are making, finding ways to utilize those arguments for yourself, and thinking of the best responses to them. Also, I just think that film study is one of the most fun ways to prep. If you're a debater, and you probably are because you're watching this video, hopefully you love to debate. Watching other students who are really good at debate is just fun, exhilarating, and I don't know, it's like watching sports if you're a debater. You get to watch rounds, and that has just never felt tedious to me in the way that highlighting evidence or doing speaking drills has. So it can be a nice way to have a more chill type of preparation if you don't want to be doing something that is a little more intense. What is film study? There are two types of it. There's the study of other debaters, and there's the study of yourself. In this video, we will be talking about studying other debaters. In the next video, we'll be talking about studying film of yourself. It involves watching their rounds and decisions, taking notes on what they do, and using those notes to benefit your own performance. Your first step is obviously you must find a round to watch. One of the greatest benefits of online debate is that almost all of the top rounds this year have been recorded. If there is a specific debater that you find outstanding, you can look up their rounds on YouTube. For example, if you wanted to watch rounds of the current LD TOC champion, you could look up Strict Jesuit ZD or Policy TOC champion Bellarmine HM. And there are many rounds on YouTube for both of those for all three of those debaters. Sometimes tournaments stream rounds that are unlisted. Some TOC rounds are unlisted and some rounds from the Blake tournament. So you can go to their tab room page and find the streaming links and then see if they have streamed the round you want to watch if you cannot find it on YouTube. But I think YouTube is almost always the best way to find videos to watch and debates to learn from. You should judge, but not just observe these rounds. You should try to flow and render a decision in each debate you watch. Given the ability to pause online, which is very different from, a live debate, you should pause when there's a quote you want to write down word for word, or something the debater did that you thought was extremely strategic. While I recommend against stealing exactly the entirety of a speech, stealing specific lines or rhetorical flourishes can be very strategic. Flowing these rounds will help you see how the debate played out, the way the judges would view the round, and argument interaction. Learning to judge means that you will be a better debater because you can see the debate from the perspective that matters. It is not debaters who decide rounds, but judges, so gaining that skill through practice judging online rounds is very helpful. You should use the college debate wiki, which is opencaselist.paperlessdebate.com, or the high school policy or LD wiki, so that you can look at the documents from these debaters while they are speaking. The high school policy wiki, which includes almost every team that debates at the national circuit level, is hspolicy.debatecoaches.org. Conversely, the high school LD wiki is hsld.debatecoaches.org. This process will teach you a lot. When you have the documents and you're watching the round and flowing, you can see what arguments would matter to judges and how hard it is to flow high-level debates, which will give you some humility when judges are making decisions. When you render a decision, and compare it to the judge's decision in the round before you listen to the decision. So you should not listen to the judge's decision and be like, oh, my decision would have been the same. No, you should watch the round, flow it, and then try to make a decision from the round you watched. Once you've written up your decision, you should then listen to the judge's decision and compare your decisions. You can see what the judge thought about, what the judge thought was important, and what you overvalued that high-level judges do not think is as important, and then you can use those lessons to make your speeches better fit their preferences. Many times, you can ask your partner or a friend to do this exercise with you. It lets you compare your thought processes about debate and what argument responses you find more persuasive, which lets you see how different members of the debate community view the importance of specific arguments. And a lot of times you can get into fun but helpful arguments with your friends or other peers about arguments made in the round, which forces you to think more about argument interaction and strategy. Stealing arguments is good, but only if you understand them. Typing up exactly how a debater has explained an argument operates as a template for a block. You shouldn't copy their words word for word into a speech doc, but it lets you catch on to the rhetorical flourishes or warrants that they use in their speeches. For example, I did that with Harvard MS's 2NC, 1NR, and 2NR against Kansas KR. They went for topicality against a new affirmative that Kansas KR broke in semis of the national debate tournament. Some of the lines that Hemanth Sanjeev, who is the 2N in that debate, said were very persuasive, so I integrated them into my debating. It is important to remember that I did not steal exactly his blocks or exactly what he said, but rather I used what he said to make my own debating better. I don't want to hear exactly what another debater has said, but the tricks that worked for them can make your debating much better and allow you to level up because you can compare yourself to better debaters. You should also ask yourself why debaters are making certain arguments. What is the strategic benefit of dropping an argument or overcovering a specific flow? Before the debaters that you're watching give a speech, you should think to yourself, what would I do in this speech? What argument would I go for? And then you can think, did I make the same choice as them? Did I think it was strategic after the speech? Did we make different choices? Would I have extended arguments differently or went for a different argument? And then you should think, why did that debater do that? And why would I have done this? Which allows you to kind of have more perspective on debating. It helps you also understand the thought process at the highest levels of debate. Sometimes you watch around and you simply don't understand the arguments being made. But it doesn't always matter. My favorite debate to watch, hands down, is Emory FG versus Northwestern CE. I think it's round 4 or 5 of the national debate tournament on the healthcare topic. It was a high-level debate about the funding stream that would be used to fund single-payer healthcare. Watching how they argued changed a lot about how I debate and inspired me to be more technically proficient and more persuasive. To be completely honest, I don't understand the funding streams used for single-payer healthcare, but the form of how they debate was very helpful and allowed me to level up. You should also remember the debate is communicative. You should ask yourself why you don't understand what they are saying. If it is a non-topic specific theory or K argument, such as a spec argument that is deployed a lot, or a criticism that you have seen on the circuit on your topic, watch the speeches and responses, and then read the evidence or analytics the team disclosed so that you can grapple with the source material. What would you have done to make the explanation easier / more persuasive? If you don't understand a debate that is going on, it is very likely the judges also don't understand the debate. So you should think to yourself, what could you have done in that situation to go above and beyond? I don't think it's good to think, oh, I'm better than this extremely proficient debater, but you should rather think, what is this extremely proficient debater doing that I can steal? And what would I do to build off what I've learned from that? This is also why it is important to look at evidence. It helps you understand the arguments that are being made in the debate. One extra resource is NDT ballots. Many of the national debate tournament final rounds are on YouTube, and judges disclose their ballots on CETA forums, which you can look up and has, it goes year by year. You can press on the forum, and sometimes judges disclose their ballots for the final round. Those are the best debaters in the nation, debating at the highest level with the best judging. You can read these ballots. They're super in-depth. They're typed out. They can be as long as 15 pages, and you can compare those ballots to your own thought process. Even if the debate is not on YouTube, you can still read the ballots to see how different judges have decided debates differently and what arguments they think are important in their decisions, which will help you value specific arguments in your own impact calculus. In conclusion, I think that it is important to do film study of other debaters so that you can see what argumentative trends are emerging at the highest levels, and you can use the rhetoric and persuasive value of specific lines, warrants, and arguments that the highest level debaters are using to make your own debating better. Even though debate you can learn a lot of it from reading or listening to other people, the most important part of debate happens between the 1AC and the 2AR. So seeing how other debaters are using that time will make your own debating better. And I think it's one of the drills that is more fun to do because it's like watching high-level sports if you think that debate is something you love. Thank you so much for coming to my video.